Most things in life rarely happen when we plan them to happen. A lot of things will come up, and opportunities that we never expected will present themselves at the least opportune moments. When you're not looking for something, it will find its way into your life, whether that is love, business opportunities, or even job opportunities. When you're pursuing something, it rarely comes, but the second that you step away and take a step back, the world opens up and becomes your oyster. Now, one of the things that you need to learn, not just in life, not just in business, not just as an entrepreneur, but in all facets of life, is that you need to learn to act in a moment's notice. When something comes up, you have to be ready to snatch the opportunity. You have to be ready to pursue whatever it is that has presented itself in front of you relentlessly. And if you're never ready for the unexpected, you'll never get to where you want to get to. And that, my friends, is a promise, a guarantee that has been shown through time.
Well, people always just say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Bars.
Exactly. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
One more time.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
This guy's good.
And a lot of people always view life or view things that could happen in life as if they're the one special case. They're God's favorite. They're the universe's favorite. They're untouchable until life smacks them in the fucking face. And if it hasn't smacked you in the face yet, just wait. Life is coming for you. So when you're going through life, it is best for you in any situation to be as prepared as possible. And you never know if you're going to get into a fight. You never know if you're going to get into a dispute that requires a lot of logic and intellect in order to negotiate and, orate your way through it. So what's the best thing for you to do is to practice on those things before they become necessary. You don't know if you're going to encounter a cataclysmic world-ending experience, and then you're going to have to fend for yourself, hunt for yourself, all this type of stuff. That's why you see people kind of, of course they do it to the extreme where they hoard a whole bunch of groceries, they get bunkers in their house and stuff like that, and put a whole bunch of toilet tissue and all that type of stuff in there. Yes, it's a little extreme, but to a certain degree, it is valid because it's going back to what I said. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And a lot of people aren't ready because they don't think things will happen to them. But again, you're not special. I'm not special. Jose's not special in the sense to where these things in life won't happen to us because we're just us. No, that's not going to happen. Things will come about. Things will happen to you. So be prepared as possible. And I always like to think of it in this way, especially now that we're in business. I always think something's going to go wrong. I never, ever think something is going to go as planned or just perfectly, because we have experienced it time after time that 9.9 times out of 10, it never goes fucking right. So maybe it's just a way that I can kind of ease the pain. And some people may say that's not the best way to do that, but it's valuable to me, is I kind of block how do I say it? I kind of block my expectations, my high expectations, because I know things are going to go wrong. So when they do go wrong, okay, I expected it. But if they don't go wrong, then fuck it, That's perfect. That's way better. Even if they don't go perfectly and they just have like a little minor fuck up in the process, I'm still winning there because I thought shit was gonna go completely off the fucking rails. So either way, I come out winning more than if I was just thinking, okay, things are just gonna go great. So when you're going through anything in life, when it comes to business, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to dealing with people in general, if you already have kind of like a little bit of a pessimistic mind state or mindset when it comes to experiencing certain things, it's only up from there. If you think, or if you encounter a situation and you feel like you're at fucking rock bottom, it's only up from there because you're at fucking rock bottom. So that's how I deal with that. And it helps me be ready for life's events and helps me be able to cope with dealing with them as they arise.
Be prepared for the worst, but accept the best. That's what I got from that. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest things that segues off of what you mentioned is that you can't really have a full expectation of how things are going to unfold. You know, a lot of times you have a goal and you're starting from point A and it ends at point, let's say, E. The whole journey from point A to point E can be a ridiculous amount of various things that you could have never predicted. You might end up at events that you never expected you'd be at. You might meet people that you never thought you'd ever meet. You might have opportunities that you thought you'd never have. And let me put it this way. You're likely going to derail entirely from your expectations. However, if you spend enough time focusing on that end goal and how to get there, it doesn't matter how you get there. What matters is that you achieve it and then you reach it. Because the journey is very important, and that's true, but we actually have less control over the journey than we expect. Really, what we do is we say, hey, I'm going to sail the Atlantic Ocean, but you might know your destination. However, you might not know and may not be able to read the patterns of the ocean on your way to that destination. You might have to take detours because of storms. You might encounter pirates. You might have unexpected situations such as a crew member jumping ship and, you know, a whole bunch of bullshit that you just can't expect. But what I'm trying to say here is have realistic expectations and knowing that you can't predict everything, and flex your muscles of adaptability, because you have to be prepared for anything, everything, and all things under God's green earth. Under God's blue skies, or in God's green earth.
It sounded right the first time, but now that you say it like that, it's like, I don't know. That's a great point.
Yeah. But you have to be prepared for everything, because in reality, life is going to throw so many things at you, and you can't handle them all knowing what's coming your way. Some things are best taken by surprise rather than the anticipation just drilling into you. That's why we're so anxious, because we're trying to predict the future, but we don't even know exactly what's going to happen. You see that beautiful woman and you think, oh, I can't go talk to her because she's going to reject me. She's going to, they're going to laugh at me. I'm going to look like a fool. She's going to call me fat and ugly and whatnot and this and that. But the reality is you don't know because you haven't done it. You can only think, but the best anti-anxiety medication is action. Action will trump almost anything in your life. And if you spend less time thinking and more time doing, you will get a lot further along, and you will train that skill of constantly being ready to the point where you're in a flow state 24/7. Just like in Demon Slayer, how they have to learn how to hold their breathing technique 24/7 around the clock, even while they're sleeping. It means they're always ready to fight. So are you always ready to fight?
And another thing about staying ready, you can only do so much. You can prepare as hard as you want to prepare, study as much as you want, work out as much as you want, train as much as you want. But there comes a time where you're going to have to put all that practice, all those hours, all that time into action. And once you do it, once you take that shot, once you step back, shoot the shot, the ball left your hands, there's nothing more that you can do. Nothing. You can't control objects. You can't move objects with your mind. You don't have telekinesis or anything like that. You're not fucking Magneto or some shit. Or you might be.
Yeah.
You know, you could be. You could be fucking X-Men. I don't know.
But odds are, or woman, or XX.
Yes. Right.
But the odds are that you're not. If you are,
right.
Comment down below, please.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know.
And join the Patreon so you can get some exclusive content.
We got to talk to you real quick.
Yeah.
But once that ball leaves your hand, you can't do shit about it. And that's also a metaphor for life. Once you put in that work, once you put in that action, and you finally do the thing that you want to do, it's up to the world or whatever you believe in at that point, not you. So, yes, you can stay ready. You can do all the things that you want to do in order to prepare, but don't believe that you have complete control over anything. You don't. Control is a facade, because you might think that you have this girl in the bag and this is your girlfriend and she's just going to love you for life and all that type of stuff. Bless you. And to be honest, I hate to say it, but you really don't know what the fuck she is doing 24/7 unless you're omnipotent, which you're probably fucking not.
You're probably with us.
So you don't know what she's doing, and you don't know how she truly feels about you all the time. You believing that you do, you believing that you have control over this person, again, is a facade, because she can do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Whether she wants to fall in line with what you're saying, that's all up to her. It's not up to you. And the same thing goes with anything when it comes to business and stuff like that. Like, you can put in all the work, have a great product, great marketing, and all this. But it comes to a point to where the consumer has to say, hey, let me reach in my pocket here. Here's my money. You don't control that. As much as you think that you can control that, as much as you have some influence, you might have some influence. At the end of the day, it's up to that person to pull that money out of their pocket and say, here's my fucking money, take it. It's not up to you. However, if you do all the things necessary in order for you to make that transaction more simple and easier, that percentage of success goes from 0 all the way up to fucking 90 or something. Who knows? But there comes a time again where that percentage ends. It's never going to get past more than 99.9%, because there's still going to be that 1%, or, in that case, 0.1%, that matters, where the other person is going to have to make a decision for that transaction to go through and it become 100%. So, of course, do all that you can. Work as hard as you can. But once you take that shot and once you commit that action, let it go. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, fuck it, keep going. Because once you shoot that shot, you should never think, hey, I'm only going to shoot this one shot, and if this doesn't work, I'm fucked. No. You should have the mindset of, this is just one shot of a million shots. This is one shot of a billion shots. If I shoot and I make it, awesome. On to the next one. I have a fucking 999,999,999 more shots to go. Right? However, if you miss, you should also think of it the same way. You have that many more opportunities to try to make the shit. So, that control, fuck it. Just take your shots. Take them. Practice. Do all you can. And let the rest fall where it falls.
Now, don't take this as us telling you that you shouldn't be prepared for opportunities that could arise. Yes, you need to act, and yes, you need to be quick on your toes, but if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you can't use any of the resources that you set aside and you can't use anything that you planned, that's perfectly fine. But you'd rather be prepared than unprepared for everything. Even if your predictions are off and your projections are way off, At least you had a plan. And now you know that certain patterns are going to happen when you follow through certain routes. And that prepares you for the next time, because life is nothing but an accumulation of experience. And you have to experience it and be perspicacious enough to learn during those moments how you need to react. When Austin and I used to talk to people, whether it was a business negotiation or even in public, we would get a little bit nervous. And that's normal. And even to this day we do, but the difference is now we don't hesitate as much because we have an expectation of how the conversation is going to go. And even more so, we understand how to conduct ourselves, which is the most important factor. We came to realize over time, there's only so much influence we can exert on the person we're having a conversation with. So as long as we cover our bases and make sure that we're speaking in the right way and we have the plan in our mind and where our end goal is, then everything will be fine. It's all of life is nothing but a tango. You're dancing with danger. You're dancing with the beautiful woman. You're dancing against an opponent. It could be like the haka dance, like a war dance right before you're about to go to war. All it is how can you adapt? How can you flow? Like Bruce Lee says, be shapeless, formless, like water. You pour water into a teacup, it becomes the teacup. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Indeed. But the interesting thing about that is water is also a force of chaos. It causes great destruction. So you have to be capable of both. You have to have a balance between aggression and also kindness, because all scenarios are going to require you to flip the switch. If people realize that you can be stepped on, then you need to make it apparent that you can't be. You have to be prepared for the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. And if you can't prepare, you have to be able to adapt in the moment. And if you want to come at us and say, this is vain, this is egotistical, why do I have to do that? I'm not in control.
Cry me a fucking river. Get the fuck off. Well, if you're listening at this point, I don't give a fuck, Thanks for listening, but clearly we're not talking to you if that's a problem for you. So if that's a problem, you can go, as some people like to say, kick rocks. That's a nicer way than what Jose would like to say. I don't know. Would you like to give them the
kick rocks is nice.
Yeah.
Kick rocks is nice.
We'll tell you to kick rocks.
Fuck off is the other one, but
right. Kick rocks is also a nicer way to say it. But yes.
The AM Club Podcast.
Signing out. Mic check.
The AM Club Podcast.